1/2 in all 4 of these 30-degree angles. But wait a minute. Down here, the sine function is negative, so that would be -1/2. Okay, so it's not those two. It's not those two 30 degrees. So it's these two 30 degrees, which is 30 and 150. Right? So should I have 2 answers? Listen carefully. This is the weird part of these inverse functions. We don't want 2 answers, because if there's 2 answers, it's not a function, right? Remember the old idea? 1 input supposed to only have 1 output. So there's this concept that goes with these inverse trig functions where we don't want them to have 2 answers or multiple answers, and so we restrict the range. So when we're talking about arcsine of x, his range is restricted. His answers are restricted between -pi/2 and pi/2. It's called the restricted range of the inverse trig function. I think I explained that pretty well, though. But each of the 6 trig functions, each of the 6 inverse trig functions has their own restricted range. It's in the book in 1.5. I don't really want to go over all of them. But they all have and that's why there's only 1 answer. There's not 2 answers. There's 1 answer. We got the right one. We're restricted. When I said between -pi/2 and pi/2, that's these 2 quadrants, right? So you don't give me this answer.
I couldn't see you right quick. Can you repeat that?
Which?
You said that you wouldn't use that answer, 150. Why is that?
Well, first of all, so I said the sine inverse of a half. What's the angle where the sine is a half? And we all shouted out 30 degrees or pi/6. Okay, same thing, right? But then I said there might be another place. 150 degrees also has a sine value of 1/2. So how come, but I don't want you to write a bunch of answers, because that will not be a function. This is not a function if it has 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 answers. So in the development of these functions, they came with a restricted range. So the answers have to be, the answer for sine inverse has to be between -90 degrees and 90 degrees. Or -pi/2 and pi/2. The answer. 150 degrees does not lie in there, so 150 degrees is not really an answer. See, I'm weird. I talked you into saying 150 is an answer, and then I'm saying no, we exclude it. We don't want it to be an answer. Hey, I want to quit. We got 5 minutes, but I'm tired. We're kind of at a good stopping point. I mean, I don't know how much of this trig inverse is on my review sheet. It's a little bit. It's in 1.5 of the little chapter 1 homework. Friday, I'll do a little more of this review, and I'll answer more of your questions. I didn't get to any of your questions, so keep working and bring me some questions, and I'll help you more Friday morning. Thank you for listening. I didn't even take attendance. Let me do that real quick on your way out. Let me hit off here.